It's our time in the studio with Carolina Coral. I welcome the viewers of Freedom. Let's get straight to the important news. Ukrainian assault units have advanced in certain areas of the Donetsk region, in some places by more than 1.5 kilometers. We're talking about the Pokrovsk area. This was reported by the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Over the past day, the military carried out a sweep over an area of more than 3 square kilometers, eliminating enemy forces and reconnaissance groups. As part of the Dobropilya operation, since the start of the active phase, the armed forces have liberated more than 180 square kilometers, and over 220 have been cleared of saboteurs. Despite attempts by Russian troops to counterattack, Ukrainian forces continue to maintain the initiative in several directions. A UN humanitarian mission came under attack by Russia in the Kherson region. The Russian army shelled a convoy of special trucks in the Bilozerka community. The attack was targeted. The Russian occupiers used drones and artillery. One vehicle was completely burned, and another was seriously damaged. According to preliminary information, there were no casualties. The humanitarian convoy was clearly marked with UN emblems and was delivering aid to civilians. This was reported by Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha.
Yet another brutal violation of international law, demonstrating Russia's complete disregard for civilian lives and its international obligations. We call on UN member states to strongly condemn yet another attack on humanitarian workers and to increase pressure on the aggressor. Andriy Sybiha, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, on social network X.
Russian forces dropped 3 aerial bombs on Kharkiv, weighing 250 and 500 kilograms. One of them fell near a hospital. More than 50 people were affected, 7 were wounded by shrapnel, garages with ambulances were destroyed, and a 3-story building of the facility, wards, and medical equipment were severely damaged. The victims were evacuated, and during the attack, 2 aerial bombs also damaged power lines. For more details, see the report by our correspondents.
On the evening of October 13th, the Russian army attacked Kharkiv with aerial bombs. Residents of the city saw 3 flashes, after which electricity went out in some districts. A major fire broke out at one of the locations, which rescuers quickly extinguished. One of the Russian bombs fell on the grounds of the city hospital. At the moment of impact, there were about 100 patients inside. Nurses Maria and Anastasia recall, even though it was loud and intense, they didn't have time to panic.
The shelling started, the first hit. All the windows still had flowers in them. But after the second one, shrapnel started flying, and we began evacuating people to the basement. We called the EMTs and moved everyone to the main building. So loud, we were standing in the hallway, handing our shift. People started to fall down. We realized, well, it was loud. There was a huge glow. And that was it. Nothing changed in the regiment. The windows were blown out.
Elizaveta, an endocrinologist, arrived at the scene after the strike because she was worried about her patients and wanted to help. Everyone who was in the building was quickly moved to safe locations. Most of the patients were in shock, but no one was seriously injured. They say that despite the destruction, the medical staff will continue their work.
Right now, we're a bit paralyzed, but I think we'll keep working somehow, because the work still needs to be done.
As a result of the shelling, in addition to the damaged hospital building, the car garages were completely destroyed, medical transport was wiped out, as well as parked vehicles. In total, more than 20 vehicles.
A 3-story building, which is right behind me, was damaged. It housed the endocrinology department and the surgery department. There is major damage there. All the windows were blown out. The doors were blown off, the furniture was destroyed, and our hospital garage building was also demolished. 2 vehicles belonging to the hospital were damaged, a UAZ sanitary and a sanitary Gazelle.
Also, during the Russian strike on the city, power lines were damaged, which led to electricity outages for more than 30,000 residents. However, by morning, electricity had already been restored to the people.
The European Commission is proposing to expand the wall of drones project along the entire eastern flank of Europe. The initiatives are aimed at protecting against possible drone attacks, including those from Russia. The plan calls for the creation of a network of sensors, electronic warfare systems, and anti-drone weapons stretching from the Baltic states to the Black Sea. The countries of Eastern Europe have supported this idea, and the details of the project will be included in the defense roadmap. Let me remind you, the European Commission will present this roadmap in the coming days. Ukrainian drones are striking the Russian oil industry. This is having a noticeable impact on processing. The International Energy Agency has stated that the consequences of the strikes on refineries will hold back the industry at least until the middle of next year. Since the beginning of August, nearly 30 plants have been attacked. As a result, there have been gasoline shortages in several regions of Russia. Moscow has already restricted fuel exports until the end of the year. And according to experts, processing has dropped by 500,000 barrels per day, and the recovery of the industry is being postponed by at least a year and a half. Germany has announced its support for Romania and Bulgaria amid threats from Russia. German Foreign Minister Johann Wadefuhl emphasized the key role of Bucharest and Sofia in Europe's security. He also said that against the backdrop of Russia's war against Ukraine, threats are emerging from the Black Sea to the EU's external borders and NATO's southeastern flank. The German foreign minister went on a 2-day visit to Bulgaria and Romania. He held a meeting, in particular, with his counterpart, Bulgarian Foreign Minister George Georgiev. The latter expressed concern that the Black Sea is increasingly appearing on the agendas of NATO and the EU, and emphasized that Bulgaria is interested in maintaining stability in the region. The Black Sea is considered one of the most heavily mined in the world. Regular enemy shelling, mining of the coastline, and storms have led to explosive devices being discovered in the territorial waters of Ukraine and other European countries. To ensure the safety of Ukrainian and European ships and ports, the Black Sea is regularly cleared of mines. This work is carried out by divers from the Ukrainian Navy. The story of one of them is featured in this report.
This is the daily work of combat diver Artem, who serves in the Ukrainian Navy. He spent his childhood and youth in Crimea. At 18, he was drafted for compulsory military service, and then he decided to stay in the Navy. Artem had dreamed of this since he was a child, because the Navy is the elite. In 2011, he was transferred from Crimea to serve in Odessa. The occupation of the peninsula by Russia happened while Artem was still studying at the Naval College.
I could never have imagined that this would happen, but we have to deal with
what we have. In college, Artem became interested in diving.
We found a lot above water, but then I wanted to be underwater. What's down there? The first dive felt like I was somewhere in space, in zero gravity. It's really impressive. The depths are just awe-inspiring.
With the start of the full-scale Russian invasion in 2022, Artem began working on demoning the sea. He says it's a process where you're constantly learning, because the enemy keeps modifying sea mines.
There's already a lot of this junk in our sea, and someone has to take care of it. The thing is, you can pack even the simplest mine with so many sensors that, as a human, I wouldn't even be able to approach it. Most of them, they attach whatever they want, sensors for light, for movement, for anything they can think of. I've been down to 30 meters, and even 60 meters deep. It's a huge amount of pressure, but we keep working.
Artem works 24/7, taking on all kinds of tasks. He jokes that he spends more time at sea than on land. But he admits, demoning the sea is tough not just physically, but mentally too.
You might think you know everything. You stay cool-headed until the very end, but still, fear fills you up to your throat. And you try to do something about it. There's this little moment of paralysis. Come on, 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 come on. Just like our instructors taught us to work with it, but never to be too sure of yourself. This is a job you really have to love. We're a small family of divers. We joke around with each other, but we go, we do the work, and we love what we do.
And even after the war is over, says Artem, he will continue working in demining. After all, the Black Sea is one of the most heavily mined in the world, due to the presence of mines from both World War I and II, as well as modern munitions laid during Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Also, after the Russians blew up the Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant in 2023, thousands of explosive devices were washed into the sea.
This is my favorite job. It makes me feel good. I love it. And our guys too. We are one family. We will keep working to ensure the safety of our country.
Ksenia Sidinskaya, Zurab Tadaluri from Odessa for Freedom TV channel.
On October 17th, Volodymyr Zelenskyy will visit the United States and meet with President Donald Trump about this. The president of Ukraine announced this during a press conference with Sky and Kalos. The main topic during the visit to the U.S. is air defense and Ukraine's ability to carry out long-range strikes. In particular, Tomahawk missiles to put pressure on Russia, Zelenskyy said. A Ukrainian delegation has already left for Washington. Later, the Ukrainian president will also arrive in the U.S. as a reminder.
The Ukrainian team has already left for the U.S. Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko, head of the office Andriy Yermak, Secretary of the National Security and Defense Council Rustem Umerov, and some representatives of the diplomatic sector. They will hold a series of meetings. I will also have the opportunity to come to Washington and meet with President Trump on Friday. I think we will discuss the sequence of steps that I intend to propose. I am grateful to President Trump for our dialogue and support. Several other important meetings with representatives of defense and energy companies are also expected. Meetings with senators and colleagues are also possible, and with Congressman Volodymyr Zelenskyy, President of Ukraine, on Telegram.
Donald Trump has also confirmed that he plans to meet with Volodymyr Zelenskyy as soon as this Friday, in the coming days. He stated this while speaking with journalists on board the plane en route to Washington. On the eve of his meeting with Donald Trump, Volodymyr Zelenskyy had a lengthy conversation with the president of Finland. In his Telegram post, Zelenskyy wrote that during today's nearly hour-long conversation with Alexander Stubb, they coordinated their positions and vision regarding ending Russia's war against Ukraine. During the conversation with Stubb, the issue of recent Russian attacks was also raised on Ukraine's energy infrastructure and the need to strengthen air defense. Zelenskyy thanked the president of Finland for his willingness to help and noted that Russia must be deprived of the ability to continue the war and terror, which could become a reliable foundation for peace in the region. German Foreign Minister Johann Wadefull called on Donald Trump to increase pressure on Putin to end the war in Ukraine. The head of the German Foreign Ministry noted Trump's contribution to resolving the conflict in Gaza. Berlin believes that now is the right time to launch a peace process in Ukraine, and warns of the risk of escalation in the fighting. The European Union supports the idea of supplying Ukraine with American Tomahawk missiles. This was announced today at a briefing in Brussels by EU spokesperson for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy Anita Hipper. According to her, Ukraine has every right to self-defense, so the EU welcomes support for Kiev's military needs. And the chief spokesperson of the European Commission, Paula Pinu, said that the president of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, is in constant contact with Volodymyr Zelenskyy.
I don't have information on whether von der Leyen contacted Zelenskyy in connection with his visit to the U.S., but they are definitely in regular contact. As for whether President Trump will take a more active role in the peace settlement, that's a question for President Trump. We are working on this issue both at the level of Ursula von der Leyen herself and at the level of the leaders. And we are doing everything possible to also convey our views on the war and to secure President Trump's support.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen emphasized the need to support Ukraine as an important element of the continent's security. She stated this in a video addressed to participants of the 5th European Conference on Defense and Security in Brussels. According to the official, the war in Ukraine demonstrates the harsh reality of why Europe's preparedness for defense is critically important. Von der Leyen reminded that this week she will present the European Council with a roadmap for achieving full EU defense readiness by 2030. The plan includes accelerating the production of defense products, strengthening Europe's industrial base, and promoting investment in Ukraine's defense industry.
Putin's brutal invasion of Ukraine has been going on for a fourth year now, and we know he is a predator. Someone who can be stopped, but only through strong deterrence. That's why it's absolutely crucial that, when it comes to our own defense, we are coordinated, precise, and swift. Ukraine must remain strong so that our region can remain strong as well.
U.S. President Donald Trump called Turkish leader Recep Erdogan a possible mediator in resolving Russia's war against Ukraine. He made this statement after his visit to the Middle East. And according to Trump, the Kremlin dictator Putin respects Erdogan. Trump himself considers Erdogan a friend and believes he can help bring about peace.
Erdogan can do it. He is respected by Russia. I can't speak for Ukraine, but he is respected by Putin and is my friend. You know, you understand why I get along with strong people. I don't get along with the weak. I get along with the strong. I don't know why that is, but Erdogan treats me very well. You know, when NATO has problems with Erdogan, and that happens often, they call me to talk to him. I never let them down. I always sorted everything out right away. Right?
Subscribe to The Gaze and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.